From the very earliest days of science fiction, first contact has been a crucial plot device. Humanity meets and interacts with an intelligent alien species and must contend with what this means for Earth and our place in the universe. But what will really happen when aliens make contact with humans for the first time in real life? This is Unveiled, and today we're answering the extraordinary question: how will aliens reveal themselves to the rest of the world? Do you need the big questions answered? Are you constantly curious? Then why not subscribe to Unveiled for more clips like this one, and ring the bell for more thought-provoking content. As soon as writers began imagining alien creatures far different from our own, first contact became a major part of fiction. Not only is it studied in relation to creatures from other worlds, but also species and entities from the future. This storyline can be traced back to various works by H.G. Wells, like the Martian invaders in The War of the Worlds, but also, arguably, the Eloi and Morlocks in The Time Machine. The trope began life as an allegorical way to look at how humans behave when encountering a culture unlike their own, something there's a lot of precedent for, particularly during the days of colonialism. Perhaps because European colonialism was so devastating for the people of colonized countries, we have a fear that a more powerful alien race would operate in much the same way, something exemplified by H.G. Wells's hostile tripods. But how would it all play out? For an alien species to arrive here on Earth, it would first have to be significantly more advanced than humanity is right now. So it's easy to see why the thought of first contact can provoke anxiety, and why it's so interesting to explore in books and TV. To get here, even from somewhere else in the solar system, an alien would need to have mastered technology the likes of which we're still developing, or even only just conceptualizing, like high-tech propulsion and launch systems. To reach Earth from beyond our solar system, vast starships may be needed, warp drives, and unlimited energy sources that function in deep space. Things, again, that are all currently beyond us. That kind of alien force would then be strong enough to conquer us easily if it wanted to. So if that was the aliens' intention, then first contact would actually and quite simply be revealed very quickly. As they invaded, we'd see their ships in the sky and witness the might of their weapons. There'd arguably be zero need for subtlety with a cosmic force that's quite so technologically capable. Even if we, humankind, managed to work an opportunity to strike back, then our ET foe would probably be able to calmly weather even our most devastating weapons. Maybe nuclear missiles could defeat a few ships in an alien fleet, but we wouldn't really stand a chance at winning the conflict outright. It would be a devastating, one-sided war then. And while it's perhaps plausible that some pockets of humanity would be able to resist and stay hidden, Earth as we know it would be no more. But, and despite the high likelihood of possibility of all of that happening, what if approaching aliens actually don't want to hurt us? It's at least a little comforting to imagine that perhaps, now that our earthly societies have significantly developed, we ourselves wouldn't treat a new species on an alien planet in quite the same way as past colonizers on Earth have behaved. So it's arguably possible that even a more highly advanced group might grant us some mercy too. For example, for leading space organizations like NASA, exploring, say, Mars, there's now a dedicated focus on ensuring that we don't even contaminate Martian soil with microbes, let alone actively hurt any alien life that we might find elsewhere. So perhaps we can give aliens the benefit of the doubt too, and foresee that they'll feel the same way about Earth as we now do about other planets. And after all, maybe they'd only be coming here and making themselves known for the same reasons as we speculatively probe into space: to communicate with a sentient species, to share knowledge, and maybe even to guide us to exist more peacefully. One interpretation of the famed zoo hypothesis argues that they may even want to initiate us into a larger galactic society, having observed us in secret up to the point of first contact. If that's the case, then they'd want to keep the peace on Earth as much as possible, which would naturally inform how they'd go about revealing their own existence. For example, in one scenario, arriving aliens might show themselves to just a few humans at a time. And if you subscribe to various conspiracy theories, some more outwardly convincing than others, then this has already happened on Earth, with some even suggesting that certain types of aliens are already working alongside the world's governments. ET entities like Valiant Thor, for instance, and his distant comrades. But regardless, if an alien group did want to benevolently impact us without intervening too much, then making their presence known to everybody in the world all at once is probably not the way to go, which leads to a key consideration for them: how to choose exactly which people to link with. If you were the alien body, what would you do? Opt for the most powerful or influential group of individuals? Or perhaps the kindest or most intelligent? There's a chance that an approaching alien would target the most dangerous humans first of all if they are intent on invasion, and as a means of gaining control. But they might also beeline straight for the altruists and scientists. If current UFO mythology is anything to go by, then they'd seemingly be open to picking the United States government, for better or worse. So much of the UFO legend swirls around the comings and goings in Washington. But an approach to America could also make some strategic sense as well, if only for faintly ominous reasons. There'd be global influence to be had, and a bridge to be made with an expensive military machine. Despite having a population around 5 times smaller than China, which is the second biggest defense spender today, the US spends 3 times as much on its military. It's state-of-the-art, advanced, and perhaps undefeatable, amongst humans on Earth at least. And while again, all of that American might could well still be small fry to an alien that's just arrived here, it's perhaps not difficult to see why so many UFO stories do feature some sort of US military involvement. Away from the battleground, however, languages would be another important aspect to Earth for an arriving alien species. English is still the most widely spoken language in the world when you include native and non-native speakers, although Mandarin speakers are close behind. This balance might also make the United States a likely first port of call for an alien group then, or indeed China, with those countries offering the best opportunities to interact with the most people. But that said, some projections for an advanced alien group see languages being bypassed entirely so that traditional speech isn't used at all, or else it's instantly translated for everyone on the ground. Simulcast around the planet at precisely the same time so that everybody gets their message. That way, well-meaning aliens would at least avoid showing apparent preferential treatment to some humans over others, which could in itself serve only to intensify our planet's already convoluted politics and borders. How do you see the potential language barrier being overcome? We know that this kind of problem is clearly a key part to any early interaction between 2 cultures, with even just a small misunderstanding having the potential to scare, threaten, or confuse either side. It would be a crucial stage with an otherworldly force, too. Ultimately, whether it's trying to speak with us or trying to just wipe us all out from the very beginning, there is no precedent for what aliens might do at the point of first contact. If there were, i.e., if first contact had already happened, then we'd certainly have a much changed understanding of life, the universe, and everything, due to our totally different and no longer planetary isolated perspective. Of course, not every variation to the story has an alien arriving by stealth or in secret. Most existing conspiracy theories do, but only because that secrecy provides an explanation as to why the wider population is still none the wiser. If first contact actually hasn't already happened, but it did happen in the future, then is it so unlikely that the aliens making it could be both open and not hell-bent on war and death? Might it be possible for them to show themselves to Earth as a whole, but also not shoot on sight and blow it all up? Probably, in some realities, yes. But in this one, the theories do still lean towards some kind of quieter and more secretive arrival if it's for peace, but a louder and more obvious invasion if it's for destruction. Nevertheless, if an alien arrival happened tomorrow, how would you react to the news? Fear or excitement? Relief or distrust? Perhaps you wouldn't actually believe it at all. Let us know in the comments, but for now, that's how aliens would reveal themselves to the rest of the world. What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments. Check out these other clips from Unveiled, and make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for our latest content.